Okay, so you've made it to the third video. Wow, I guess you're really interested in owning a harmonic egg. I just got back from the barn, so I'm a little windblown. Oh my gosh, but it was so fun with Holly. She's such an amazing horse. So anyway, this video is going to be about how to search for your location. And it's very interesting because you want to make sure you are finding a place that is handicap accessible. So if you have someone coming in a wheelchair or a walker or a cane, you want to make sure that they're able to get inside your building and find some comfort in being safe there. I like the light industrial locations. I find that they're just kind of tucked away. You don't have a lot of traffic noise. You don't have a lot of shopping mall noise. Um, and you don't have a lot of smells from restaurants or anything like that. So um, be careful to not be next to a Subway because it's going to smell like bread all day in your space. You don't want to be next to a dry cleaner. You don't want to be next to, in Colorado, a pot shop because it's going to stink all day. We have a couple of counties here in Colorado that won't allow pot shops to be in their county. And sometimes you'll drive through a town and you'll just smell the skunk weed. So be careful of that. And then also you want to look at your lease. So my lessons learned was I got screwed on a lease that I signed with CAM and triple net. You'll have to get a broker to help you understand it, but be sure you understand it. The air conditioning unit broke in my one space and I had to pay $5,000. It wasn't even my building. It wasn't my air conditioner. So lesson learned there. My next lease, I signed a provision, I guess I want to say, where if anything happened to their equipment that, they would pay for the first, $5,000-$10,000. And then if it was something I needed to fix, then I would. So, just make sure that you get a good broker. You can hire a broker to help you broker the deal. Usually the broker is paid by the landlord that they find the space for. So every town, every city is going to be different. Sorry about that. Every town, every city is going to be different. So just be really cognizant. So make sure you check on that. Some center owners have a shared office space, and if you like that, that's fine. You'll share a bathroom, you'll share maybe a conference area, you'll share some different amenities with the other tenants there. Let's see, be careful with if you have tenant improvements, ask them to get a couple of quotes. Sometimes they won't, so then you have to make a decision if you're going to use their contractor or get a couple of quotes. I like to have my own restroom. I'm a little bit of a germaphobe. And so when I built out the space at the Life Center, I built it out with the private bathroom and then the public bathroom. And because I was there pretty much 8 to 12 hours a day some days, 5-7 days a week, depending on, the schedule. So you want to look at that. You want to look at your floor. If the floor is super unlevel, it's going to be really hard for the guys to bring the egg in and level it out. We have some spaces where it's, a high point and low point, and they have to shim it to make it level. So take a look at that. You may not be able to do anything about it, but if the floor looks like this, probably a no-go. Let the landlord level that out. The footprint of the egg is not huge. So as far as weight-wise, it's distributed very well. So we have an egg on the 5th floor of an office building, and the landlord was concerned that it might fall through the floor, but that's not going to happen. It's very distributed in the weight, so it's not going to be too heavy in one spot where it's going to bust something up. So you're fine there. But landlords could ask about it. Landlords have also asked about the noise. If you're turning it up so loud with a client in there, you're going to be hurting them. If you're turning it up so loud to disturb somebody on the other side of the wall, you're probably going to be hurting the client. You shouldn't be using the volume that high. After 90 decibels, you're damaging red blood cells and the cellular structure of the client. So don't do that. And you're taught that in the training too. You want to make sure the rooms are soundproofed, so extra double insulation in the walls, or you can put up some sound soak or quiet rock. There's different things you want to put up in the room, so that you can hear talking. Some walls are so thin, you don't want the silence. You all should know by now that there's 40 minutes of music and 10 minutes of silence. During the silence, very often you're hearing people talking in the next room over, so just insulate the walls. Um, some of the center owners have, it's really cute how you have like a circular pattern, and there's a healer here, a healer here, healer here, and then there's a bathroom. It's kind of cool. It's really quaint. So you can find some really cool locations. Just find, something that doesn't have a lot of traffic noise. Some of the centers have trains that go by. To me, that's not so bad. It's kind of calming sometimes to hear a train. I like trains. So this looks funny. I like trains. So you got that going on. Let's see what else. Oh, make sure that when you do sign your lease, make sure they're covering all roof leaks. Make sure you like your landlord too. Make sure they're high vibe and good energy. I didn't like my first landlord. They were actually rude and uncooperative, but of course it was my lessons learned. And you never know, they could change. Oh, when you sign a lease, if you have a neighbor of, say, an acupuncturist, just ask when is their lease up, because you could run into a situation where their lease is up after a year. You have a 3-year lease, and somebody moves in there that you don't want to be neighbors with, a dry cleaner with the smells, or a food place. So just ask them, what kind of tenants they have. That's why the light industrial is really good, because normally they don't let restaurants come into those locations. But you want to be careful with some of the people that they'll let in. When I was next door to the tax record, the county tax record location, it was so quiet. After 3 years of my 5-year lease, they let a kitchen repair company office there. So we had to move all the stuff. Fortunately, it was a large space, because for 2 years, they were dragging commercial kitchen equipment across a cement floor. They had stinky stuff going on in there. It was terrible. So for 2 years, I suffered through that and complained, and nobody cared. So you want to be careful of that too. I love my new space. Well, the Life Center now. It's not my space anymore. I sold the Life Center. But I love that space. It's beautiful. There's a Buddhist temple across the way. You can kind of see the mountain range. It's not a high traffic area, but it's easy to get to. So make sure it's easy to get to. You can even take a video of the location, and you can drive to it and show the street signs and where you turn and how you get to your door. That's also a fun way to tell people how to get there, and they can watch the video, and then they'll say, oh, okay, I remember turning here. I remember seeing that. And there's that big tree there. Do you guys like my background? Isn't it pretty? Look at, oh, let's go this way. It's got the little walkway. It's so cute. Anyway, I bought a couple tapestries to do for backgrounds, because I was just tired of the wall. I digress. So yeah, that's kind of stuff. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, the 14 by 14 room is ideal for the egg. 12 by 12, it can fit. But think about it. You want somebody to come out of the egg and sit in a little chair and have a table there, and they can drink their electrolyte drink, because we do want to ground them and let them have a little more time for processing, even though the 10 minutes of silence is great, to help them process before they come out. But that extra time is always nice. You want maybe a little lobby space if you want to have that. You'll have an office for yourself maybe if you want that. Maybe you'll sit in the lobby. That's fine. Just be aware that if you just buy one egg and you have a husband and wife come in, you're going to be probably, I'm going to say stuck. It's probably not the right word, but you're going to be maybe feeling like you need to talk to the one that's waiting. And then when the one that comes out, then you're talking to that one. And so I like to have at least 2 eggs. We have 3 at the Life Center, but 2 eggs is great. Husband and wife come in, you put them both in. And so you're doubling your revenue with just, in the same amount of time, you're doubling your revenue with 1 manpower. So you can overlap the sessions for people, like you start one at 10, one starts at 10:15, and you can kind of go from there. So that's really valuable to know. Let me think what else. Yeah, I mean, that is priceless. That is priceless information. If you can afford two, it's so much. You double the revenue, less time, single manpower. Oh my gosh, it's great. And there's like 3 centers right now that had one, and now they're thinking about getting two. Because think about it, you put 2 people in, you put 4 people in, 6 people in, 8 people in, you're there for, I usually schedule them every hour and 15 minutes. So you have time to clean and make sure the room is clear for the next person. But yeah, you're there less time, like I said, doubling your revenue. So that's great. And then also you're freeing up your time. That's what I want to say. You're freeing up your time. So you're sitting in your office and you're answering emails, you're answering calls. You don't have to be in there with them, and you don't have to be entertaining someone that maybe they brought or that brought them. Make sense? Let me think what else. You might want to find out from the landlord the prices of their electricity. I noticed I had a north-facing wall in Colorado. In the north-facing walls here, you'll find you can actually drive down the street. The north side of the street still has snow, and the south side is completely melted. It literally is a thing here in Colorado. So the north-facing wall was so cold, and my office was in there. It was so cold all the time. So make sure that it's insulated enough where you're not, wasting electricity, especially if you're on the end of a strip center or something like that. I was in the middle of 2 offices with the life center, and literally my electricity bill running 3 eggs, all the electricity, the heat, the air, it was between 70 and maybe $110 a month to run all 3 eggs. They don't pull a lot of electricity. It's just like the amplifier, the iPod, the lights, they're plugged in. It doesn't take a lot of electricity at all. That's another question people have. And now that we're on the topic of electricity, if you're international, we will bring the equipment, or we will purchase the equipment in country so that it has the proper plug, or we'll bring a transformer to make sure it works with your electricity. So don't worry about that. But anyway, make sure that you find out from the landlord if there's like any drafts. You're going to be just like wasting electricity in the winter and the summer with air and heat. If there's one room that's cold and you have a couple rooms, you can put one of those little heaters in there. We had a guy's room and a girl's room. So the girl's room was always warmer, unless you're in menopause, then they didn't want the warmer room. But yeah, just be, cognizant of that. And you can run an air purifier also with some white noise. So sometimes if you just can't help that there's some extra noise in the space that you've chosen that you just love, you can run an air purifier during the silence so that white noise kind of drowns that out and they don't hear the talking or, something else going on in the space. Let me see, what else do I want to share with you about office space? You'll have internet access, you'll have Wi-Fi, you'll have a phone. You may use your cell phone, but you may also choose to get a landline. Other expenses that you have a general liability insurance, and usually the landlord will explain that to have a lease there, you need general liability insurance. So, you might want to ask what kind of insurance is required to have a lease there. Other expenses that you'll have. Sometimes they have an insurance that you need that in case someone gets hurt in the parking lot. And you want to make sure that they do, if you have snow, that they have snow removal. You want to talk to them about the signage. Sometimes they'll only let you have a little baby sign, and sometimes they'll let you have a huge marquee. I think that's what you call it. So let me think what else. I think that's pretty much covers a lot of stuff that you guys will be like, oh my God, I didn't think about that. Hopefully you'll be thinking, I didn't think about all that. Yeah, so the Life Center doesn't have a handicap spot in front. That building was grandfathered, so they don't have to have them out front. So our spot is a little bit like 8 spots over. So that's a little inconvenient for some of our wheelchair clients, but it hasn't been a huge problem. Let me think what else. We had window cleaners. So if you have, ask the landlord if they have window cleaners or if you have to clean them yourself. I had a cleaning lady that would come in and do a nice cleaning every like once a month, and then I just cleaned, or my staff cleaned daily. As far as cleaning the eggs, let me just talk about that since I'm on this cleaning topic. We changed the sheets and the head cloth from the chair, and then we wiped down the handles with an antiviral, fungal, bacterial type of spray. I have some suggestions. I like the product Microcin, but other center owners use other things. Just make sure that's not stinky, because some people with multiple chemical sensitivities, or MCS, is an illness. They'll be real sensitive to that. So you also want to make sure that when you're washing the sheets, don't use really stinky fabric softener or laundry soap. You can get the soap nuts or something unscented and natural, so you're not stinking up the place. And then you can use like little clearing spray, essential oil clearing sprays, but just the intention of clearing the energies after each person is always really nice, and it makes sure you feel your next client feels safe and protected in the space. Okay, if you guys have any questions, let me know, and on to the next video. Love you guys.